Well, welcome to the first of our new series of Sheroes Unlimited Behind the Book. I'm Jaynie Morris, CEO of Sheroes Unlimited, and I'm delighted that we are getting a new series. We've been getting all of your comments and your feedback about the previous interviews that we've had with Behind the Book, all of the authors that we've had from around the world. And I'm excited that this year in 2022, we have a huge list of incredible authors with amazing books that we are going to be interviewing on Sheroes Unlimited Behind the Book. So before we start, if you haven't subscribed and you've just fallen upon this just because you're scrolling through your YouTube or you've seen it on our website at SheroesUnlimited.com, subscribe straight away, because every time a new episode comes out, they get sent out to our subscribers first. So you'll never miss one. Also, if you're checking us out right now on where you get your favorite podcasts, again, make sure that you subscribe so you never miss out. So without further ado, my very special guest for Sheroes Unlimited Behind the Book for our new series. Full disclosure, I have known this amazing woman for many, many years, probably a few more years than either of us would like to disclose. However, we do have a very deep bond and a very close friendship. And I'm excited because she has now joined the kingdom of authordom, and she is joining us today to talk about her very first book. Pamela Segneri, welcome to Sheroes Unlimited Behind the Book.
Thanks, Jaynie. It's really a privilege to be here, and it's been a long journey. You know, as you know, I have a background in publishing and ran successful bookshops for many years, and always had this hankering to write, and never quite got around to it. So here we are.
Here we are. So before we get into your first of many books that I know that you will be writing, what I'd like to talk about with you now, Pamela, is just to give, obviously, I know your background. I know all about you. I know some secrets.
Those we don't disclose.
Yeah.
Not on air anyway.
But could you share a little bit of your background and your story so that our amazing viewers and followers can get a bit more of an insight on Pamela?
Okay. Yeah, where to start? Well, as I said, yeah, I was involved in publishing for many years, and I ran very successful, monetarily successful bookshops around the country. But my grandfather was a journalist, and from a very young age, I always loved to write, and I would write stories. I'd create different worlds in my mind. And you know what it's like when you're a child, you know, she's off with the fairies, all that sort of nonsense. But the other side of it is I come from a family of ministers, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And so again, I just didn't really know where I fitted in that. I have been a minister for, again, more years than I care to admit. But I see things through a different prism. I believe God is doing a new thing in the earth. And so when people think of church, they think of religion and so on. And I did too. And I knew that wasn't God. So what I really want people to get is, you know, I'm just another chick, you know, and you know, we all want our lives to be better. We want our families to be better. We want our businesses to grow. And so my pathway to that is obviously through belief in Jesus Christ and the love of God. So this book, I love to inspire people. I'm not trying to convert people. I want to inspire them. I want to challenge people. I challenge their thinking. but I want to provoke them to see that there's another way, there's a better way, perhaps. And if you can't see that, that's actually okay. I'm no one's judge. Like I said, I'm just a chick doing it, but I want you to be blessed. And so, you know, if you read the book, even people who have, I've known for many years, and they've picked up the book and they've read it and they've said, I could actually hear your voice. And that's kind of cool, because you know, you're sort of sitting on their shoulder, rabbiting on all the time. But friends of mine have said, you know, other ministers have said that they got something out of it. So that's really a resounding endorsement, because it's like any book, like your book, Jaynie. You know, I got something out of it that about healing and about health, about well-being, that I mean, I didn't expect to, but that's a great surprise. And I think that's what we need to offer as authors. You know, let's provoke people to live better lives. Let's challenge them. But inspire, not motivate. Motivation will finish, you know, but inspiration will go on forever. So
absolutely. Now, you live on the Gold Coast in Australia. Our podcasts and videocasts go around the world, so I think it's important we do establish that for all of our viewers and listeners. So you're in the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland. You have 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and with your amazing husband Paul, you're actually co-founders of the Integrity Restoration Ministries as well. And you're also co-founder and host of the Firestarters TV program. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit, give us a little bit of background on that, and how yourself and your husband, Paul, put all that together, and why?
Oh, why not? The TV show, Firestarters TV, was essentially Paul. And I was more than reticent about being a part of it, but then a friend of ours, an American lady, well, she's actually Canadian, she lives in America, who runs a very, very successful TV ministry, she said, Pamela, you just go for it, you'll be perfect. And what can you say? And I went in with fear and trepidation, but I actually loved it. When it wasn't about the technical, I mean, you know me, I'm technologically challenged, but it was the opportunity to talk to people that they could talk to the world, essentially, about what they were doing and what their lives looked like, what their businesses looked like, and it was enjoyable. And let's face it, you know, if you do something you enjoy, you'll never work another day in your life. So I was really good with that. We've had Firestarters TV in a bit of a hiatus, because with COVID, everyone has been on TV, on the internet, everything, you know, and I just felt, no, let them have a go. It's okay, because I wanted a fresh direction. And so when we come back, we're just taking a slightly different direction to the interview style. And the ministry, well, you know, Paul was born into the ministry as well, so it was just a natural progression. But we have a heart for people, and we want we just want people to live their best life.
And I think with everything that you've just shared about what you have been doing over the years, and creating all of those incredible spaces for others, and you know touched on the global pandemic that we're currently all involved in, I guess, is one way of putting it, has actually been a great opportunity for you to write your book, The Seed of Faith, Living the Now Word of God, which you've already started to give us a bit of an insight into. But tell me, Pamela, so why did you decide that now was the time to write this book?
Well, because I had the time.
Yes.
Yeah. I just kept listening to people who just kind of seemed lost. And if you're a ship without a rudder, you go around in circles. And if you're a person without vision, you're going to go around in circles. And I just believed that there was an answer in the Word of God, but it wasn't perhaps the religious answer. And so the book is for me an exercise in vulnerability. It's very me and who I am, but I just want people to be encouraged. I just want people to know that it's not about signing up to a church or a club or a whatever. It's about everything about Jesus is about relationship, and God is into relationship, and so we need to be into relationship. And so the Word of Faith is just enhancing that relationship with God. It's if I said something to you and you trust me, you believe it, and you'd walk out on that word. So if God says something to me, I trust him, so I believe it, and I walk out on that word. And people say to me often, yeah, but I don't believe in God. And I go, it's okay, he believes in you. And I mean, I have seen miracles absolutely make your hair stand on end. Miracles happen to people that didn't believe in God, because he likes to show off. So that's the thing. It's not about and people's lives turn around when those miracles occur. But it's not about signing up to anything. It's just about believing that he is. And if you can believe that, you can believe the word.
So when you started to write your book, The Seed of Faith, what was your vision for the book itself?
That it would go into the hands of people that needed to hear that word. And it would, as I said before, it would inspire, it would challenge, it would provoke people, but it would bless them. And blessing's a word that's sort of tossed around and it's sort of a bit Christianese. But in plain English, it means empowered to prosper. I want this book to empower you to prosper in whatever you do. And if that's in your business, if it's in your family life, if it's in your relationships, whatever it is, that you would be blessed, you'd be empowered to prosper. And that's got to be a good life.
Absolutely. One of the things that I selfishly really love about your book is that, number one, it's a really easy read, Pamela, and you've and I have to say to our audience as well, it has been spaced out in really good size fonts so that it doesn't, and in such a way that there's not one paragraph that you don't. What I'm trying to say is sometimes when you have books, and I know that our audience will agree with this, sometimes when you have a book, you'll read it and you'll sit down, you'll start reading it, and then if somebody said to you, oh, what have you just read? You go, Well, I knew it at the time, but
Yeah.
however, the way that you have written this book, and by the way, there is only 117 pages, audience. So, it's a good, quick, easy read that is powerful and quite impactful. So congratulations on on doing that, because I think that's very important as well, for especially for a book like this. Which, would I be correct in saying that this would be a good book as a door opener for somebody
Yeah.
in the very first time? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And let's face it, a lot of people don't read now. And we're in this culture that wants everything and wants it now. And, or actually yesterday would be better. But so, I mean, I love books. I have a mobile phone, I have a laptop, I have all the bits and pieces, but I never read books. No, I have, but I don't enjoy it. On my laptop or on my phone, Paul got me a Kindle subscription, and I like paper, and I like to underline, and I like to be able to go back and when I was writing this, I actually wrote it quite quickly, and that was interesting because friends of mine that have written many books, like, oh, you have to live it, you have to sit with it, and I just felt, well, I've already lived it. This is really, this is who I am. And I don't mean that to sound arrogant or flippant.
No.
It's just, it's my subject, if you like, my mastermind subject. And but I wanted it to be easy. So you don't need to be anything other than who you are, and that book will speak to you. That's and for you to say that, Jaynie, and recognize that is a huge compliment, because we hadn't discussed that.
No, these behind the book interviews, as my audience know, are very spontaneous, not scripted, and quite blindsiding sometimes to my guests. So, which is a great segue into my final question for you today. Is
Okay.
if you had an 8-year-old Pamela in front of you right now, what advice would you give to her?
Okay. And the thing that just popped into my mind, don't marry the first man that asks you.
There you go. See what I mean about spontaneous honesty?
Incredibly spiritual right there.
And that's one of the things that I love about you as a person as well, and your readers will discover that as they go through your beautiful first book, is that you are a very authentic, down to earth, as you put it, just another chick, and you have an incredible way with words. This book is fantastic, and The Seed of Faith, Living the Now Word of God, Pamela Segneri. Now, Pamela, all the details of where people can get this book are below where people are watching this or listening to it right now. However, can you just tell us, if somebody wants to get this book right now, how would they do that?
If you go to the seedoffaithbook.com, then depending on where you are in the world, there's all different suppliers, bookstores, Amazon, what have you, that you can access the book. And if you want a signed copy, there's a button there, you can click that and we'll sign it, or I'll sign it and send it to you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So that's the seedoffaithbook.com.
Yeah.
All anybody needs to do is go straight to there and you can get your copy right now. Pamela Segneri, congratulations on your very first book, and thank you so much. I know you're very busy. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today on our latest series of Sheroes Unlimited, Behind the Book. It's a great read, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invitation.
You are more than welcome. And if you enjoyed listening or watching this episode of Sheroes Unlimited, Behind the Book, as much as I loved bringing it to you, then remember to comment below any questions that you might have, like it, share it, spread the love, and subscribe. Make sure you do subscribe, then you will never miss an episode of Sheroes Unlimited, Behind the Book podcast. And of course, if you want to catch up on any of the others, you can get them from wherever you get your podcasts from, or of course, quite simply just go to SheroesUnlimited.com and click the podcast icon there, and you'll see all of the previous ones that we've done. There are so many, and if you love reading as much as I do, then you're going to love those interviews as well. I'm Jaynie Morris. I look forward to having your company again on our next episode of Sheroes Unlimited, Behind the Book.